Okay, everybody's awake. Everybody's awake and everybody wants a break. So I'll try to make this very brief. Because you've been sitting a lot, and I've been sitting a lot too. So I'll try to make this very brief.
Near microphone. Please.
I'll try to make this brief because I know you want to stretch, you want to get something to drink, and I want to stretch and get something to drink as well. So I'll try to make this as brief as I can. I'm from the University of Kentucky. What do people associate with Kentucky in terms of brands? KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken. In America, many people associate Kentucky with basketball. We're a very good basketball team. Okay.
And horses.
And horses. Okay. From my office window, I used to be able to see racetracks. So my salary was paid by people who bet on horses, people who spend money on tobacco and on bourbon. And I don't drink, and I don't smoke, and I don't bet on horses. Okay. So this, semester I'm teaching at the Pedagogical University in Krakow. I'm retired from my university. I've taught many years about political geography, social geography, geography of religion, geography of tourism. I've traveled in probably about 80 different countries. I've taught in probably a dozen different countries in Europe, including Kosovo and Bosnia, Austria, Switzerland, Finland, Sweden, I'm in Poland, Ireland, well, elsewhere. So I feel at home in Europe, and I feel at home talking about this topic because my interests are not only in social geography, political geography, but I'm very interested in the geographies of cyberspace. You talked a little bit about cyberspace today, but that's one of the foci, one of the concentration I want to talk with you about in this industry today. I think it's not correct to look at medical tourism in the same way we look at other topics, mining, agriculture, industry, or even in terms of looking at religion and language, because cyberspace refers to a different world. It's a world of points. It's a world of networks. It's a world of flow and speed, isn't it? It's a world where boundaries make no difference and boundaries make all the difference, don't they? It's a strange world. But it's this cyberspace world which, in many cases, many things about geography don't make any sense. Distance makes no difference, direction makes no difference, but still it does make a difference. See, it's a kind of a schizophrenic world, isn't it? So I want to try to combine those topics about promotion, branding, cyberspace, identity, flows, and medical tourism. Medical tourism is a term which is widely accepted by people who study this topic. Wellness tourism is mostly used by people from Britain. Okay, it's mostly a European term. It's not used very much in America. Wellness tourism, I have some problems with that term. Don't you? Yeah. Wellness and tourism. Well, sometimes people come for cure, but they're not tourists, right? They don't go to cathedrals and they don't go to shopping. They go to relieve pain, or they relieve hurts, or to get replacements, or to get counseling. So it's not any kind of tourist activity that we generally think of. So I have some problems with that term, and I imagine many of you do as well. So I'm talking about cyber medical tourism, tourism on the internet, tourism on World Wide Web, on Facebook, on Twitter, on social media. That's the world, okay? That's the world. When we don't look at tourism the same way we looked at a subject like health 20 years ago. If you don't believe me, look at the younger generation. They're very cyber-oriented, aren't they? They're very cyber-oriented, and for those countries that are going to push tourism in new directions, they're going to have to somehow come to grips with that this new network, speed, flow, boundaryless world. So I'm talking about web page advertising. States promote the webs, I'll talk about in a few minutes. Also destination branding. How do you brand yourself? The point that Martha made a few minutes ago, well, a long time ago. Made a long time. How do you brand yourself? That's really critical. I'll have some suggestions about that after a while. This is a mix of both the state and the private sector. The state is a major, major, major actor in this. You cannot ignore the state. Everything in your daily life is somewhat governed by the state. The state is everything, and everything is the state. That's what I teach in political geography. Some students cannot understand that, but it is. The state is everything, everything, and everything is the state. That's not a condemnation, not a criticism, it's just a fact, isn't it? Okay. I want to start with some quotes. I'm not giving a formal lecture, just wanting you to think through this topic with me. And these are topics from a journal, Medical Tourism. Okay, her organization sometimes advertised in medical tourism. It's a magazine which has been 33 issues since 2009, I think it is, and it's focusing specifically on elements about medical tourism. Let me just read these to you. One person said, geography should not be a barrier in terms of getting the best medical care. That's a good statement, isn't it? So you should be able to get good medical care wherever you live. That means you should be able to get the care or go to get the care. Human rights, human mobility is not a universal right. You see that with refugees, don't we? Human mobility is not a universal right. You may be able to move, I may be able to move, but some people are, to use a phrase from one of my colleagues, some people are prisoners of space. They cannot escape. The world is getting flatter. It's a huge market. We're looking at generating growth in medical tourism. Somebody from the AMA, American Medical Association. A region's permanent status as a destination must be a factor in the blend of medicine and hospitality, which talks about branding, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And I like this last one. As medical tourism is increasing in visibility and globally, continued research on its impact are needed. So this is not a dead subject, this is a dynamic subject. It's increasingly important. And the people that are in this field, they cross many different fields. Advertising, promotion, banks, legal, economists, psychologists, sociologists, many people. It's not simply a nice, neat set of 10 or 12 people. Okay, topics I'm going to look at. We'll just get there. Okay. Cyber medical tourism. Okay, I look at this as the intersection of tourism, selling a place, promoting a place, health, and the state and the private sector. Those are the three components: tourism, and healthcare, and technology. So here we're talking about this intersection, not of just two of them, but of all three of them. And this technology can be electronic technology, it can be social media, it can be World Wide Web, it can be listservs, it can be apps, it can be simultaneous translation. But the technology, the point I make, technology is a very important part of the success of any cyber medical promotion by any state. If your state, whether you're from Greece or whether you're from Ghana or whether you're from Guyana, if your state ignores cyber dimensions, you're going to get left behind. Okay? You're going to get left behind. If you promote it, Estonia, Finland maybe, you're going to be ahead, aren't you? So think about that as a critical element in promoting tourism. And for this, you may have to bring in some people that know more about subject than you do. Okay? I'm talking about bringing in young people. Young people who are 14, 15, 20, 25. They look at the world differently than you who are gray-haired or getting gray-haired or bald. Okay? They're the future. They know the importance of cyber anything, don't they? Cyber medicine, cyber learning, cyber teaching, cyber politics, they know that. So this intersection is very, very important. I looked in a larger paper I'm writing, I looked at what are some of the titles of articles in this journal. I said there were 33 issues. You just think about the titles of this if you're reading this. And who reads this journal are people who are in tourist promotion, people who are in the medical field, people in the technology field, and also some consumers. Okay? Some people read it. Just think about it. I'm going to read it. So, the lure of medical tourism in Asia. Okay, big market in South, Southeast, and East Asia. That's your market, not Europe. Okay? German, welcome to well-being. Creating a medical hub in the Caribbean. See? Japan, realizing medical tourism potential. Spain, the hub of transplants. Dubai, we talked about, medical tourism. Transformation more than cosmetic. So these are titles in this journal. If you're something in tourism for your country and you do not know this magazine, it's online. Okay, it's online. Okay, so I looked at the internet. How much do we know about this subject? How much do we know about medical tourism? Well, you can go to books, you can think about books and journals, but I like to look at Google. Okay? Google is a world database, isn't it? Google and God go together, right? So if you want to know about God, you go to Google. So type in Google, type in medical tourism, and plus the country. Okay? Do that for every country and you'll come up with data. Okay? So I did this a couple weeks ago, and in terms of the Google search engine, which is sort of across the board, there are about 43 million hyperlinks, electronic pieces of information. Google Scholar, which is mostly for research by professionals, about 4 million. The leading country with entries in English, US, China, Japan, Germany, South Africa, Canada, United Kingdom, France, Australia, Italy, and Mexico. All those are close to big countries, or they're rich countries, aren't they? Okay. I also looked at the Journal of Medical Tourism. I counted in this journal for the 33 issues, articles about 71 countries. Articles about 71 countries, something about medical tourism. There are 200 countries in the world, so many countries do not have an article in them. Advertisements, I looked at all the advertisements. All the advertisements, because I wanted to see how is medical tourism being promoted by a country. Okay? 41 countries, see? Not very many. 41 countries. Most are the United States, Mexico, South Korea, and Costa Rica. I looked at the wording. We talked about a few minutes ago about branding. You talk about branding. How do you promote your country? I've been trying to think, how can you best describe medical tourism in Romania? What I would do, you may want to accept this idea, what I would do is ask the public for ideas. Ask kids, okay? Ask people, come up with a slogan, okay? I like the point she made about Romania, medical tourism for all seasons. That's a good phrase, isn't it? Or we treat your body, mind, and soul. That's good, isn't it? So think about it. Okay, so these are just some slogans. Doctor's Hospital, relax and cover in the Bahamas. That's nice, isn't it? It's supposed to make you feel good, okay? Salud Panama. Salud is a Spanish word for health. Malaysian healthcare. Discover medical treatment and true Malaysian hospitality. I don't know what Malaysian hospitality is, but it sounds nice. See? I've got a friend who teaches at Ljubljana, and when Slovenia became independent, what was their slogan? Come to Slovenia, the sunny side of the Alps, but it's the rainy side of the Alps. See? But who cares? See, it's kind of promoting, isn't it? Facelift Mexico, cosmetic surgery, right? Maybe we should have some.
We have already, and we promoted to Dubai. It's Romania Embrace Health and Beauty.
Oh, that's good. Okay. I was thinking, okay. Facelift, maybe we can have some politicians have facelifts. Okay. Turn to Jordan, your smart medical destination. Bulgarian Cardiac Institute. the patient comes first. Maybe they don't come first, but it sounds nice, doesn't it? So you're trying to think of some way that's kind of be sexy, appealing, attractive, seductive, and everything else. Okay. Okay. But this is my map. Okay, this is two maps. This is the number of hyperlinks. So look at the countries that have a lot of hyperlinks and those that don't have very many. Africa. Africa is basically ignored in medical tourism. It's basically ignored except for South Africa. Don't ask me how to explain Central African Republic. I think it's just an error in the data. So Africa is basically ignored. So where do Africans go for medical tourism? I don't know. Maybe they go to South Africa. But notice, most of it's very little, isn't it? Most of it, notice the concentration in South, Southeast, and East Asia. Notice the unevenness in Europe, isn't it? So this is a new map. I've never seen this map, that's why I made it, but I like it. I hope you like it. But it's kind of showing, this is the words. See, the words with every country. Okay? And this is just looking at Google Scholar, which are scholarly articles. But still you see Africa, Central Asia, just kind of marginalized. Latin America, some countries high, some countries very low. Okay. So that's let me give a few suggestions. I think what would be useful, just listening to all of you, I think it would be useful for some surveys of people who come to Romania for medical tourism. You need some surveys of this because my reading of the literature is not all medical tourists come for the same reasons to the same countries. And what are the sources they use? Some will use the internet, okay? Some will use the World Wide Web, but many will just use word of mouth, see? Friends. Have some focus groups. Ask people around a focus group, why did you choose this destination? And we're finding out that Chinese choose medical tourism different from Koreans. Americans do it different from Mexico. So we can't just assume if this result shows for Mexico and the United States, it's going to apply to Brazil and Argentina. We need more specific data. The second point I just made a few minutes ago, we need to have active government, private sector involvement in this industry. I do not know if there's a medical tourism degree or certificate offered in Romania. If not, start one tomorrow. Seriously, okay? And that will include people from the many different fields. Business, law, medicine, economy, architecture, religion. That's a very good certificate. That would put you on a map, wouldn't it? That would put you on a map.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, let me stop there and answer questions. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor.